the idea that the president might be using the chief of staff, John Kelly, to push out his own daughter and son-in-law. Most of what is inside my suit cannot believe that would ever be true, that like a father would do that to his own daughter.
But, don't go too far down that road.
But as tempting as it. The idea of this, help us understand this, because it's crazy as an idea.
I know it's one of these things that actually, if we've for those of us who have been swimming in this for such a very long time, it doesn't really sound that strange anymore, and that is what people mean when they talk about it, sort of a numbing effect. But look, he has been sort of all over the place in terms of the president, in terms of what he says about his daughter and son-in-law's presence in the White House. So take the two aside for 1 second.
Meaning like working for him, being his advisor?
Working for him.
And that he is ambivalent about whether he likes it or he doesn't like it?
He is ambivalent about whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. So, for instance, several months ago, and this has been reported, he had been looking at having them leave, particularly Jared Kushner. Again, this is really less about Ivanka Trump. It is primarily about Jared. But he has said repeatedly to aides, you know, Ivanka Trump gets terrible press because of me. You know, this is all people taking attacks at me onto my daughter. This is terrible. However, Jared Kushner is someone with whom he is now frustrated. He goes back and forth between being, you know, feeling bad about what has happened and then being irritated by the fact that Jared Kushner has become a liability of sorts in his own right. He is getting a ton of negative headlines on his own. It is all about the meetings he is taking. There's a lot of focus on investigations. He will talk about how, you know, Jared's getting killed, and he's not always saying it with any sense of sort of self-reflection or this is an extension of how they're looking at me. Trump does not like when people attract negative headlines that could be a problem for him. And now he has a member of his extended family getting that in droves.
I mean, I'm just going to, you've just put a fine point on it, but I'm just going to read the key paragraph because I think it is so striking.
Yes, and that had an editor's hand, which is better than my just sort of spewing.
No,
so
no, nothing is better than your spewing. Okay, so here it is. Privately, some aides have expressed frustration that Mr. Kushner and his wife, the president's daughter Ivanka Trump, have remained in the White House despite Mr. Trump at times saying they should never have come to the White House and should leave. Yet aides also noted that Mr. Trump has told the couple that they should keep serving in their roles, even as he has privately asked Mr. Kelly for his help in moving them out.
Yes, and it changes on the day, right? It's not a consistent through line. It's not like there is this secret covert action to try to move them out. But he was fine with it when what John Kelly was trying to do was curtail their power. And John Kelly, despite having told me on the record that it was wrong, it wasn't wrong. He had been talking to a lot of people about wanting to restrict what they were doing in his hopes that they would leave. And the president has at times encouraged that.
Well, it makes sense because when you first were reporting about Kelly pulling the clearance from Kushner, the common sense notion was, well, that's it for Kelly. He went bad on Trump's family.
That's right.
But this now informs why Kelly is still there, because obviously if the president's okay with it, the whole calculation changes.
I think the president is not really sure what he can't see right now, and you are dealing with a lot of issues that he is unfamiliar with. The situation with John Kelly was quite bad several weeks ago. It has stabilized right now. I don't know that it will stabilize forever, but yes, the president was not going after John Kelly over this clearance issue. To the contrary, he was punting to John Kelly and essentially saying, you deal with this problem with my children, I don't want to.